What was supposed to be the next big thing, but totally flopped. Google Plus was supposed to be the answer to Facebook. That was a lesson on how not to handle hype. There was so much hype around Google Plus, it was infectious. But they refused to open it up to everyone and maintained a very hardline invite-only system. Even once hype had peaked and there was a notable decline, still they maintained a small invite-only system. I remember by the time they decided to open it up to everyone, the hype was well and truly dead and no one bothered with it. They should have cashed in when hype was high, but they, I assume, got greedy, thinking the hype would just infinitely increase and people wouldn't get bored waiting to get in. From what I've gathered in this thread, Google threw a lot of shit to see if it would stick Lamau. That's basically their business model. I read somewhere, ages ago, that Google was willing to try just about anything their R&D people put out there, and if it didn't look like it was going to be $1 billion return, they'd can it and move on. Also, a lot of things they cancel have features that end up in their mainstream projects. Like the conversation view, mail categories, trip thing, snoozing from inbox are all just part of Gmail now. If you have $100 million, you can bet on 100 things. If one of those things turns into $1 billion company, that's 10+ times return. That streaming service that lasted like 2 months. Qui or QB, I think? Even bad timing aside, a mobile-based streaming service at a time when no one could really leave their house, the marketing was just horrible. I saw ads for it for nearly a week before I realized it was a new video streaming service, and by that point was so annoyed by the ads, untrusting everything, I didn't care at all, just out of spite. Also, I mean, it was just YouTube you have to pay for and got worse content. It felt like something an old person thinks young people want without doing any focus group testing. It probably could have survived, or at least slowly die, without the pandemic, but I don't think I would ever give them my money. The Panama Papers. Seriously. The sad thing is, we all knew it would be like this. Revealing crimes of rich and influential people? Yeah, this idea was more destined to fail than the Segway. Ouya and microconsoles in general. They're fairly popular with pretty niche audiences. Apparently the Ouya is a really good platform for emulating, but the problem is you can't really advertise a product that's really good at something that's in a grey area legally. We actually had an Ouya. Mostly used it as an Android box for streaming media. PT demo. This one still hurts. I still remember the inflections in some of the lines. Don't touch that dial now. We're just getting started. Look behind you. Look behind you. Look behind you. 3D TV. Heard a stat from one of the 3D TV manufacturers that the average number of pairs of 3D glasses sold per 3D television was a number very much smaller than one. I think they were too embarrassed to actually tell everyone how tiny the attach rate was. Clearly remember thinking, these companies have lost their fucking minds. There's practically nothing 3D to watch. TV shows weren't available in 3D and weren't about to be filmed in 3D. Catalogs of old favorites would never be 3D. It's like the entire 3D industry was made for Avatar, which, while a little bit neat, I never intended to watch a second time. Reminded me of all the bullshit hype surrounding DVDs at first. Like I could watch a scene from Terminator 2 from any angle I wanted. Like I'd be able to watch any movie scene from any angle I wanted. Never ever saw that feature utilized. Edit, thank you for the helpful feedback on multi-angle viewing. Clearly, I did not watch enough porn DVDs. Mini disc. TBH, I miss mini discs. They were great. Mini disc was quite successful outside of the US. The UK, Japan, and Germany especially did pretty well with it in the late 90s, early 2000s. Johnny Manziel. I remember when he signed with CFL and everyone thought he was gonna absolutely dominate. Asbestos, technically it was a hit. Right until it flopped when people figured out the whole inhaling rock fibers is not healthy thing. Not to mention that asbestos is damn near indestructible. Its inability to be broken down is what was causing the health issues. It still works great, for some industrial applications, with great big warnings that it contains asbestos. Segways were supposed to revolutionize travel and replace the automobile. Now they're just used for guided tours for dorks in tourist traps. It cannot be overstated how much hype there was around the Segway, or how completely it failed to live up to the hype. Correction, the number of replies to this comment have forced me to consider that it can be overstated. Yes, this was mine, the hype leading up to it was intense. Like a year of promising something that would challenge how cities are built. Nope, lots of places just made them illegal on public pavements and highways. This one might be a bit obscure just because I've only ever met one other person familiar with it, but Google's Project R, a modular smartphone, was looking like it could have been the end-all be-all of smartphones. Based off the phone block's idea of having a Lego-like hot swappable module phone, the idea was that you could switch out any components of the phone on the fly. Camera, fingerprint scanner, even different quality screens. Conceptually, it really looked like it could take over the phone market, as it would lead to people not having to buy whole new phones anymore, but rather replacement or upgraded parts to a phone they already liked, thereby reducing costs and increasing utility. You don't want a phone with 5 cameras that inflate the cost unnecessarily. Just buy one camera module. You want a 1440p Super AMOLED screen to replace your 720p regular screen? Buy one and swap it in. However, like many Google projects, it died off for myriad reasons and the long-standing era of $1,000 smartphone slabs lived on. Yes, I remember this. I was very excited when they announced it. I wonder what happened. I guess maybe because of comparability issues with multiple hardware systems from a multitude of manufacturers who have their own protocols, but damn wish they went through with it. I've got a Fairphone 3 right now. It comes with a screwdriver and I can easily upgrade my camera, replace battery, fingerprint scanner etc. They make a big deal out of being to fix and upgrade your own phone. Supposedly the metals are sourced fair trade. I think it's not available in North America though, I'm in Europe. Google Wave. It was supposed to replace email with a more collaborative approach. Essentially it was like a dynamically created discussion board you'd share with select people and you could have a more readable discussion than one with a bunch of forwards and CCs and the like. I thought it was a good idea, but it flopped big time and Google got rid of it after a few years. The mistake was making it invite-only like Gmail. Gmail was a fabulous upgrade to something everyone already had, email, so everyone wanted the much better version. Wave, on the other hand, was a new concept. They should have been desperate for people to try it out and get creative with it, but instead they restricted access. This was by far the best collaborative platform for planning trips I have experienced. I took a lot of backpacking trips. And we could all combine research, having a collected map, take stock of inventory etc. in one place. Now I see people putting that stuff into a Google Doc and it kind of sucks by comparison. RIP Google Wave. Movie Pass. I sure got my money's worth while it was around. This one was just fucking outstanding, honestly. I followed it in live time for its run as much as I could. Google Glass. I heard one of the biggest issues was that it was too heavy and felt uncomfortable, but they literally couldn't make it any lighter. The dorky look didn't help, but the biggest thing that killed them was honestly the privacy issues, namely, that all the douchebags that had the development models kept constantly recording people in restaurants and shit with them. Xbox Kinect. On the bright side, the Kinect ended up being a very inexpensive but effective tool for computer vision and robotics research. As a big thing it was a failure, but there was a lot of great niche uses for this product that never got explored. It's sad that Kinect didn't last long because it wasn't a major money mover. I worked in senior citizen services for a little while, and when we got a Connect it revolutionized the place. It was shared with a few other SCCs and we had it in Tuesdays, and a Microsoft guy would come with it to help set it up and instruct the members. They loved it. It was so great to watch them bowling and playing keeper in a soccer game, or playing some of the simple little mini games. Some of the seniors who would just sit there all day got up for only the Connect. It was nice. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.